The more you care about getting that thing, manifesting that thing, the more you put things and people on pedestal, the more power they have over you. The harder it is to get there, the more the bridge becomes weak and longer and harder to get there. We have to realize that strong, crazy paradox that the more I care, the more importance I give something, the less detached I am, the harder it is for me to get there, and the more it evades me, the more my life becomes out of balance, the more I become anxious and worried and doubtful and stressful, and the more pressure I feel and the more empty I feel, and the more lack I feel, and the more lack I experience. One of the things that really messes us is that excess importance we give and assign to our goals, to the things we want to create, manifest, achieve in our life, right? And it's normal because we want something, it's a desire. And often when there's a strong desire for something, it comes with that attached importance because we feel like, oh my God, that will bring something into my life, right? So to have importance is not by default a problem. It's when we go too much into excess importance, right? When it becomes a must, a need, when we project all those qualities, all those things that we think this thing is going to bring us, when we start to feel so much lack and so much anxiety and so much worry and so much unhappiness because we don't have that thing or that person or that situation or that experience, when we start to feel ashamed of our present situation because we feel like I should be there or I don't have that or my life should be like this is when we start to live in that negative energy, in that energy that is full of contraction and tight. And so that leads us to want to control things, to want to manifest things, to want to bring things into our reality even more. And we go further and further and further out of balance. The more importance we give it, the more it evades us, the more it slips through our fingers. And sooner or later, life will bring balance because everything strives to remain in balance. And so life at some point will bring balance. And this usually happens by you missing out or the opposite things that you want coming into life. And this is where people often ask, well, I've been visualizing, I've been doing this, I've been writing all those things, I've been scripting, blah, blah, blah. And I got the opposite of what I wanted. And often when I ask them, tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how much importance you assign to that goal, to that thing, and be honest. And often the number is 8, 9, 10. And this is the lesson. The lesson is that when you're trying to be a control freak, when you're trying to tell life how it should happen and how life should be, and when you try to manipulate all those things, and when you add so much pressure on yourself, when you worry about the next step and trying to be perfect and avoiding the mistake and worrying about other people, all that thing, all that inner turmoil you create inside of yourself, you have to ask yourself, how could I have created anything good out of that state? And for most people, they don't even realize that they create that excess importance or put so much thing on a pedestal. And this is why the first step of releasing importance is to pause and to create that self-awareness, to just be able to observe it first by asking a simple question. Look at your goal, look at the thing you really want to create, right? And ask yourself, how much importance, how much you are obsessed over this thing? Some degree of it is inevitable, right? But ask yourself, am I going too much? Am I going into excess? Do I feel like I'm obsessing about it? Do I feel like I'm lacking it? Do I feel like I really, really need it? Right? It's not even I want it, but I really, really need it. To the point where I feel unhappy, to the point where I feel worried, to the point where I feel doubt, to the point where I am unable to really just live my life, to really be present, to really just do what I need to be doing, and trust and have faith. And if you're there, if any of those things, resonate with you, it really shows that you're way too far out into importance. Way too much things are on a pedestal. So then you have to take responsibility and be like, okay, I realize that. And this can be difficult because when the mind is so entangled in what we think it will bring us, it can be very difficult. But it is doable if you simply learn a simple process of detachment, of putting space and noticing that that thing or that person or that external thing that I want to create doesn't have the power that I think it has. I'm going to say it again because this is the key. This right here is the key to detachment, to releasing importance, is to simply fully accept that the money, the promotion, the car, the house, the relationship, the shiny thing, the Louis Vuitton bag, the whatever it might be, doesn't have the power that I think it has, meaning it will not bring me, it will not give me, it will not fulfill me to the extent that I believe it will. It's not going to make me whole, it's not going to be making me perfect, it's not going to fix all my problems, it's not going to make me lovable, it's not going to be the savior and rescue me. Or, I'm going a bit in excess here, but you have to understand that what you've been projecting on the goal, what you've been assigning, like for example in a relationship, you feel, oh my God, I'm gonna feel so loved and it's gonna be beautiful, and that's the quality you project on the person that you put on the pedestal, and you feel like, okay, without that person, I will be nothing. I'll be miserable and I'll be alone and so you have to realize that on some level, I'm lacking self-love. But this is the point for another video, right? You are only lacking what you're not giving to yourself, and that's why you try to overcompensate by chasing those things in where you project those qualities, right? So I'm gonna get that person, I'm gonna get a dog, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get, the new job, the promotion, the amount of money, just to feel worthy, to feel good about myself, to get the approval of people, so I can finally feel like, I'm somebody, right? That shows you lack worthiness. You lack that feeling that you feel worthy about who you are. But this is if we go deeper into that. But I want to stay more on the topic of importance, because you can release importance from your desires and so on. But first you notice it, and then you really realize that those things don't mean anything. Because if you look at your life, all the things that you really, really, really wanted in the past that you got now, they're laying down, taking dust somewhere in your home. You're barely enjoying them. They're like, yeah, whatever. It's good, it's nice, okay, but it's not as when you wanted it before. And so very likely the thing that you want now will fall into the same category, and you'll go and chase the next thing. So the next step in releasing importance is to consciously be aware, consciously notice the pattern of where you give excess importance, where do you put too much significance, and to learn to always bring it down. And the best way, not the easiest way, but one of the best ways for me personally to get there, is to simply contemplate and accept the idea that if I don't get it, if I completely miss out, if it doesn't work out, although I'm not going to enjoy it, although it's not what I want, I will be okay. I will still love myself, I will still be good enough, I will still, be okay. Everything's working out for me. So if I don't get it, something better will happen, but I will be okay. And if you're very entangled, if it's very difficult for you to accept that idea, if there's a lot of resistance, this is where you must do it even more. Because the moment you can contemplate and see the worst case scenario of you missing out or whatever, right? You're not getting the promotion, you missed out on the house, you missed out on the money, your client didn't sign up. And you contemplate that idea in your mind, and you're like, you know what? I'll be okay. I am okay. That's what happens in me. It brings that relief. And this is when I know, balance is restored in my mind. And this is when you truly start to detach. And often when you start to detach, what you start to notice is that things start to flow. And that doesn't mean that it's going to happen just boom, like you want. Sometimes it happens, but things will work themselves exactly how they're supposed to happen. What you really have to do is to keep your mind in the game, is to feel worthy of the thing that you want, is to be present, is to do what you need to be, is to be in a state that is aligned with your desire. And I have a lot of videos that explain how do you remain there, how do you become that person. But if you keep on swimming against the flow of the river, you're going to burn yourself out. Learn to go with the flow, do what's needed, and often you'll see how things just work themselves out when you realize that the power is in you all along. And that's why we create our reality. But as long as the power is outside of you, on the people, the things, the goal, the external thing that you think will add those qualities into you, you're missing the point, and you're remaining a slave, chasing endlessly something, sometimes, somewhere, that is going to make you whole, complete, good enough, loved, or whatever. And so you remain a slave to those things. So wake up, and realize, where am I giving too much importance? Drop it, learn to detach, make it a second habit, and it will have a massive effect on your life. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Be well.